Hello and welcome to Blockleaders.io with me, Gillian Gossel. Today I am really very pleased to welcome my guest, Korby Hayre, who is the founder of House of Block, to our show. Welcome to the show, Korby.
Hi, thank you, Gillian. Good to see you.
Yeah, no, we met online you saw something that I did, and we got chatty, and we got like a house on fire. And I just want to ask you some stuff. Like, for example, you have 25 years of experience in events and marketing and exhibitions. I was going through your profile. You've worked at like really fun stuff like Top Gear and The Good Home. So spill some beans.
Absolutely.
What are the guys like in Top Gear?
Oh, just as you see them on screen, actually. Absolute blast to work with. So I started in the publishing industry first, straight out of graduation. I left Sheffield Polytechnic at that time, moved down to London, went into ad sales, and then quite quickly on moved across to trade exhibitions, which led me to BBC Haymarket. So they were absolutely fantastic days. I was sort of mid-20s. We were doing really the live format of the TV shows. So you'd have Top Gear on the TV, then you'd have Top Gear live, brought to your very own eyes for live visitor participation at racetracks. So Silverstone is where we did the event, and that was an absolute hoot. Very big job for a mid-20-year-old. I was sales manager of Top Gear Live, and I had to speak to all the main manufacturers. So all the motor manufacturers, so everybody that is at the Geneva Motor Show was our target, getting them to the UK, and they were a tough bunch to crack, but really good fun. Yeah, it's hard work.
Yeah, because I worked a couple of years ago. I worked in sports, and I became PRO for a Premier Football Club here in Ireland. Football as in soccer, not as in Gaelic football. But essentially, you come. I mean, my background is fintech, but I came across all these sports journalists. Sports journalists are the nicest people in the world. Isn't that mad? They help you, and I think that they're not competitive. I don't know what it is. They're just amazing. So car people.
Car people are really good fun. So I worked on Top Gear, which was Main Street cars, but also classics and sports cars, which is a fantastic community full of enthusiasts. I mean, they're really passionate about what they do. So if you're there and you're sort of trackside, they want to get to know you. It's just such a really cohesive industry. Really good fun.
Well, I've seen a bit of your house from various videos that you've done and the one you have now. You also have good homes. You obviously have lots of good taste yourself.
Oh my goodness, thank you. So being the exhibition director of BBC Good Home Show was an absolute dream job. I got to know Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen. I hung out with Anna Ryder Richardson, Linda Barker. I used to go to a lot of their press functions and always come away with a goodie bag. But they were just really down to earth people. Fantastic time.
It's amazing how we're all fascinated by other people's homes, isn't it? We love seeing inside. Absolutely. And whether or not, I we were saying earlier, I don't own where I live, so I'm not decorating whatever. But I still watch those programs. I'm going, I like that. And I've no intention of decorating or redecorating.
Well, I have to say, I still watch the interior programs. I mean, I love Grand Designs. I'm forever flicking through home magazines because just for ideas and inspiration.
Yeah, well, I'm gathering a lot for when I eventually have my own home again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Packed with stuff.
Well, I mean, really, that position that I had was at the bang on the right time because it was just when changing rooms was happening on our TV screens, and you had home front in the garden. In fact, Dermot Gavin, the lovely Irish man, landscape gardener, he was terrific fun to hang out with. So we used to have lots of sort of dinners and work out what the theme of the event would be the following year, and develop these room sets with some leading high street retailers like Laura Ashley, Marks and Spencer's, and we'd work with them on putting a room set together that would have their furniture and their finishing touch. So it was good.
Very interesting. And then where our lives started to nearly link was, of course, in Malta in November of last year. You were actually working at the AIBC Summit in Malta. Absolutely. And I was there on one of the stages. We didn't actually meet. No. That was your first time to get into fintech and blockchain.
Yes, absolutely. So I was sort of investigating blockchain for about a year, and then I got asked by my last employer to pop over to Malta in May, the event when it was at the Hilton.
Yes.
And I was absolutely blown away with the energy and the people that were there, and actually Malta as a destination and as a country, what they were doing and how they were supporting fintech and all the sort of legislation they had, a framework for companies to go and set up there. So yeah, I got, in conversation with Iman and started doing a little bit of work for him. Sadly, it was only a short project, but, it was great to be there in November and meet up with loads of good people.
I must say, I mean, I love Malta too as a venue because, as I was saying, I wasn't staying in the Hilton or wherever it was this year in November.
Intercontinental in November, yeah.
But
beautiful.
I was in a little cheap hotel. It was fine. And it was walkable,
Yes.
I think and Malta is walkable. All the drinking and the meeting, you're going, which pub are you in now? Not that, of course, we were drinking, of course. It was all very serious.
Absolutely.
But it was very nice to jump around the place. And it's a great little venue because it's so compact.
Absolutely. And it's very safe, like you said, Malta's a great little island. It's very safe. The venues, are all 5-star. So you're having quite a good time. And I think the keynotes themselves are quite intimate because of the audience size. It's not like complete contrast from me, Excel Centre, or when I worked on Cisco Live, where, we'd have like 30,000 delegates, all technology experts looking to know more about technology. So every corner you turned had to be designed in a certain style or feel. The AIBC was quite a nice, relaxed environment. So it was nice to be part of that team.
I actually worked at the Excel last year during the year before, during London Tech Week. I was chairing a blockchain conference in the Excel.
Yeah.
Nice venue. So anyway, that's our lives. We almost met twice, but didn't. And then all of a sudden, COVID-19 happened. And two things came out of COVID-19. The first one, I'm going to go the fun one, lockdown curries. Tell me about that.
Well, it was more out of boredom, actually, with my teenage son, my 13-year-old boy. And we'd been watching Gordon Ramsay because he follows him and he loves his cooking and his humour more than anything. And I do a lot of cooking. I host a lot of dinner parties. Obviously, hadn't seen anybody for a while, and I decided to do some cooking. And my son said, "Mum, I'll just film you with the mobile phones." That's exactly what we did. And before I know it, we crafted up a logo, posted it out on YouTube, and got something like 400 and something odd likes. So we thought, fine, well, we were motivated to do another. So we've pushed about 4 out. And it's been fun. And what I didn't realise was what was my fun was also the audience's fun. So I've had loads of feedback about, gosh, I didn't know how to make rice properly, or didn't know that's what you had at that time. And, so it's been great that I've been able to share a skill that I didn't appreciate, perhaps, coming from a Punjabi background. Punjabi cuisine's in the blood, it's in the family. It's what we do when we get together, we eat and we sing, so it was great to bring that to the screen.
I say, well, the videos, I haven't done them yet. I watched them. It's like the houses. I haven't done the decorating. I just watched them. They look amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to do simpler recipes. I didn't realise that a few of my friends who actually don't cook, won't cook, have been inspired to cook because they said you make it look so effortless and easy. And because I'm not very prescriptive about measures, I sort of cook from the heart and I cook with love. I'm quite, I always talk about how forgiving certain recipes can be. They've given it a go, which I think is great. If I've raised their confidence.
I think I am your target audience because I'm one of these women who don't really cook either. And I know I have 2 sisters, both wonderful cooks, I might add. And one sister is very good at more traditional cooking, and she'll make like big lasagnas and quiches and that sort of very traditional food. And what she does is she will cook up but several lasagnas, because same work involved, and put them in the freezer. So people come around, she has them. It makes great sense. And she's not married anymore, but when she was, her husband would say, that freezer's a great thing. And we're going, Anne fills the freezer. It doesn't fill itself. But anyway,
absolutely.
But the gas thing is that I can't do that because if I make something, I've no guarantee how it'll turn out. So imagine if I made like 3 lasagnas and they're all disgusting. But I'm inspired. I'm going to have a go with some.
I'll recommend the aubergine and prawn one. That's a nice, simple, easy one to get started on.
Okay, because I do. I mean, I lived for a while in Australia and Singapore, and I never got as far as India. But but I do. I love all those.
Fantastic spices and flavors.
Yeah. Actually, when I moved to London first, it was funny because in Ireland the go-to ethnic food, takeaway food, whatever, is Chinese, and it's all over. They came here first, and of course in London. It's Indian.
It's Indian, absolutely.
And I had my first Indian in London when I worked for JP Morgan. I remember that, and oh my God, I had no idea such cuisine existed, because at home, and curry would be very, very sweet. It would have sultanas in it, regardless.
Absolutely.
Like curry powder, sultanas, and onion and veg. doesn't taste anything like an Indian, that's for sure, of whatever variety. So that's really cool. Okay, so now the exciting thing is, the other thing you've launched in lockdown is House of Block. I love the name. I love the name. What is House of Block?
Right, so House of Block really is a culmination of all my experience in the tech sector. So when I was working on Cisco Live EMEA, I got very interested in the Internet of Everything. I saw a keynote by John Chambers talking about the Internet of Everything and how businesses, this is back in 2014 when things were going to be digitized and how industry was going to move forward and process would be simplified. Modern day speak, that is now IoT, which is Internet of Things. So I got into that field, started working with some organizers that traditionally had like retailing shows, encouraging the exhibition organizer to look more at digital transformation, how that would affect their event and their sector. And so what I was trying to do was initiate startups, talk to entrepreneurs and get an element of the startup culture at these ginormous exhibitions, you know, where they normally miss out because there's no money at the end of the day for an exhibition organizer to have startups there because they've got no funds. So we started creating content, really. That's what I was doing. And really IoT has morphed into blockchain because it's all about emerging technology, where business processes are going. I spent time looking at smart cities, smart manufacturing, and clearly what's beginning to happen is if all these technologies sort of converge and come into play, then you've got a very, very strong, solid, workable solution. And I was just fascinated with blockchain. Anything new, I want to know about it. So I read up endlessly. I've fallen asleep to YouTube tutorials on blockchain. And how it can improve industry. And quite frankly, blockchain will affect every vertical industry in the market, from aviation down through to food production, to automated cars, to smart cities, how we live. So House of Block is a concept that I developed where I can bring all these stakeholders together, be them speakers, sponsors, investors, to potentially have, you know, I'm formulating a podcast series myself. I mean, I would have had an event had we not been in lockdown. So it's really about building a community and an ecosystem, and then giving them an opportunity to converse, whatever that platform might be, but be it, you know, the podcast or the supper club or the meetup group.
And how can people get hold of you? What's the best way to get you?
So I'm in process at the moment. The best way to get hold of me is on LinkedIn. I do most of, I'd say 90% of my business to LinkedIn. I have a Twitter, but that's for politics.
As one does.
That one's quite busy
there yet.
That one's quite busy at the moment. But yeah, LinkedIn's the best way.
I'm going to spell it too as well in case people are listening and not looking. So it's Korby, Korby, and Hayre, Hayre.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so not the usual spelling. Oh, well, Korby. No, Korby
yeah.
Could be C, I suppose, whatever.
C, yeah, with a K, yeah.
Wow. Fascinating. Well, I'm going to be watching your progress and maybe getting involved in some of your podcasts or your discussions.
Absolutely. No, I'd love to have you on board. I mean, I'm really quite keen to look at the intersection of technologies in blockchain, AI and IoT and how that affects the smart city. You know, there's several companies out there that are very highly involved in smart cities like Cisco, IBM, Intel, and actually bring the stakeholders together from the tech community with the local bodies, the councils, the mayors of cities, to look at how they can improve the life of their citizens. I mean, and that is very prevalent now, given we're in COVID times, you know, being able to manage your society, giving power back to the citizen, you know, where they're able to go about their business, but be informed about the decisions that they make.
Yeah, I think your timing is very strong, because there's now that there's COVID is bringing disruption anyway. Whereas people before, like, you know, for example, sort of an aside thing, how car lobby groups have dominated cities because they're made for cars, not for public transport. But now because of what's happening, of course, public transport, maybe it's gone backwards. I'm not quite sure now who wants to go use public transport, but there is a time of disruption. Absolutely. So the city can move faster, can change faster because of disruption.
Exactly. And even in smart cities, it's not just about automation as well. I mean, the other flip side of it is you need more green spaces. I mean, I'm lucky. I happen to live in a lovely part of southwest London. And if it wasn't for this gorgeous park around the corner where I've been able to walk without even coming into contact with anybody for 2 or 3 meters easily, it's been a godsend. So one of the big objectives of a lot of smart city programs is not only just to make them safer, but to make them more beneficial for your mental health. So it's looking at green spaces, having these parks, these areas where people can, hug a tree and just feel better about their environment.
Yeah, I hugged a tree recently, actually. First time. It was nice. It was one of those big old-fashioned ones that have it's kind of a fir, I forget what it's called, but it has the hollowed out center.
Right.
So you climb up in the middle, and I hugged it then too as well.
Fantastic.
It's actually in the tree,
Yeah, wow, that's some energy there then.
Yeah. Well, so I have to say thank you so much for your time today. So Korby Hayre, who is the founder at House of Block, and that's where they can find you on LinkedIn if they want to find out more.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Julian. Thank you for your time. Hope to speak to you again and share some more stories.
Absolutely. And I'll be cooking by then.
Yes, I'll look out for that one.
I might not record it though. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you.